This is my plan.
Yes, right there in the blue shirt. Sorry.
Hi, thank you. I'm Matt Duss. I'm at the Center for American Progress.
Say it again?
Matt Duss. I'm with the Center for American Progress. It's a think tank here in D.C.
Yeah.
A question first on the talks you had with Abu Mazen. There was an interview you gave several weeks ago with Avi Sakharov, the journalist, in which you discussed the details of your talks.
Yeah.
And you said some of what you had said here about, he didn't say no, but he didn't respond. But the way that your remarks were spun, I think, by many here in D.C., especially on the right side, was that this is more evidence that the Palestinians are simply not interested in agreement and there's no partner for peace. I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about how you interpreted that. Do you agree with that? And very quickly, on the Arab Peace Initiative, do you think that the current unrest in the region, how does that impact the viability of the peace initiative as a basis for future negotiations?
Well, first section is that I never said, never did I mean to say that the fact that he didn't say no was really just a more polite way of blaming him for not having peace with Israel. There were many reasons, some of which can be understood. I kept saying all the time when people talk to me about Abu Mazen, they said he's not serious, he's not really, he doesn't mean it seriously, he's very weak, and so on and so forth. I said, look, everyone within the context of Israel understands that the pressures on Bibi from the right wing makes it very difficult for him to take a decision, and must be understood, it must be reconciled with that. It's not easy because the settlers, the supporters, and some of the extreme representative of the Likud within this their parliamentary faction, and they are now more than they were in the past, make it impossible for Bibi. I don't accept it, by the way. I think that if someone in the position of leadership needs to take a decision against the tide, against the general attitude of some of his members, this is where his leadership should be tested. But I said, you understand it about Bibi and you don't understand it about Abu Mazen? Does he not have Dahlan who is ready to overthrow him any minute? And what about the Hamas? And what about all the others in his own party? Do you think that opposition is a creation only of Israeli politics? So he's got his problems just as well. And I don't agree that he is not a partner. He said that he is against terror when he was number 2 to Yasser Arafat. In the middle of the second intifada, he stood up and said, I am against it, at a time when Arafat perpetrated it. So I think that he is a partner for peace, and I don't know amongst the Palestinians who may be a better partner for peace. So if we want peace, we have to find the good excuses why to make peace with him, rather than to say why he is not ready to make peace. And also, if you read, I'm not a sale representative for salesman for Condi Rice's book or George Bush book, but if you read her book, she writes some stunning things about how senior Israelis came to her and to Abu Mazen and advised them, stay away from Olmert. Don't cherish his proposals, because soon enough he will be gone, and who knows, maybe you can get more, and so on and so forth. At a time when she said to the president that he is right that when he said to her that Olmert wants peace, except that she thinks that Olmert will not live, he will die because they killed Rabin for far less. So I don't want to judge. I quote you from the book of Condi Rice. And it's written. It's written, no, it's written. I was not present when she met with Israelis, senior Israelis, who told her, don't go forward with Olmert's proposals. I wasn't there. I can't verify it or deny it. I can only quote from what she wrote from meetings, and I don't see any reason that she will write it unless she says the truth. She's not an enemy, she's a good friend. She's a good friend of Israel, she's a good friend of me, she's a good friend of others in Israel. And I like her very much, and she was very constructive as a foreign minister. She visited the Middle East 25 times at the time that I was prime minister. This is not insignificant. So I don't want to blame anyone. I don't want to blame ourselves, definitely. I don't want to blame the Palestinians, and I don't want to blame the Americans. I want that all these forces will understand the urgency that we are in, and that everything depends entirely on a breakthrough between us and the Palestinians, and that also refers to the Arab countries. I think that we can't afford to have for a long time this coolness in the relations between us and Egypt. Egypt is a partner. Egyptians' interests are to have very much better relations with Israel. For the time being, it's very psychologically, I can understand, it's tough for the Egyptians' Muslim brothers who spoke like Hamas and like others suddenly to create the same kind of spirit of relations that we had with Mubarak. But it's something that must be dealt with. An agreement with the Palestinians will have an enormous impact on the ability of Israel to create a dialogue with all Arab countries, and it will also help to quieten down the unrest among some of them, which is now quite a major problem for many of them. I think Turkey should be a major power in helping Israel to create this kind of dialogue, and therefore I was in favor of a rapprochement with Turkey long ago. I said it publicly in Israel 3 years ago. We will apologize to Turkey. Don't worry. We will apologize to Turkey. The question is what we will pay until we apologize. If we'll apologize now, the price will be little. If we will apologize 3 years from now, it will be much higher. And unfortunately, again, I was right. So. But still, I think that Turkey should play a major role, not because Turkey is ideal, not because I agree with everything that Erdogan said or that he does, not at all, because there is no alternative. And Turkey, of course, again, with the assistance, with the umbrella support, with the energies, with the enthusiasm, and with the power of the United States of America mobilizing all these forces, it still can be done.
Let's take 2 or 3 questions together. I think that's probably about all we're going to have time for. Yes, right over here. Please identify yourself.
Yeah, my name is Herbert Grossman. I'm a retired judge. When Barak pulled out of South Lebanon in 2000, and when Sharon pulled out of Gaza in 2004, the military, Israeli military, thought that they had complete control and they were prepared for everything, especially since they had unfettered control of the skies. You, more than anyone, should realize that that didn't come about, that in 2007, Israel suffered a great defeat in the Lebanese war because they have no response to people dug in with loads of rockets that they can fire within seconds. Yet a year later, you propose that Israel pull out of the high ground in the West Bank, in which you know that sooner or later Palestinians will dig in and will have tens of thousands of rockets that they are able to fire at Netanya and Tel Aviv. What do you say to the people who say that the reason you're promoting all that is really because of your personal legal problems? You're trying to ingratiate yourself.
All right, so we have, thank you. Well, no, it's not that. It's just we're running out of time.
What do you expect from a judge?
I want a question.
What do you expect from a judge?
But seriously, this is question.
What is your response with
Question and
regard to
answers.
Your military strategy.
So that's one.
Your military strategy that you didn't have in South Lebanon. What is your military strategy against that type of warfare from the high ground to the West Bank?
Judge Grossman.
Yes.
I understood you. Believe me, I understood you. I will answer you.
Okay.
But
That's one
Aaron,
question. Let's do
yes,
another
Aaron
2.
proposed
Yes,
it.
right in the center here.
Thank you. I'm Professor Wayne Glass from the University of Southern California with my excellent students here studying nuclear issues. Mr. Prime Minister, you said that at the beginning of your remarks that Iran was the largest remaining threat with respect to Israel. Let's dream a little bit and let's assume that we do reach a resolution with the Palestinians. How will that play out, in your opinion, regarding the Iranian threat? Thank you.
Thank you. One more question. Yes, right here. Yes, that's right. Sorry.
Thank you. Paulette Lee, communications consultant. Mr. Prime Minister, you have said, I've heard other people also say, that this is not only the best time, but maybe the last time that a peace agreement can be reached. What do you mean by that? Why? It's been going for 65 years. Why not another year?
Okay, so we have Israeli withdrawals, Gaza, Lebanon, we have nuclear, and we have best time, last time.
Yeah.